So when I mean chaos, I think there was a doctor strike happening at the same time. So I'm now on a ward. Meds were 2, 3 hours late. The bins were all overflowing. There was no clear, concise information coming from anybody other than, okay, the tests have come back. You've got an infection. We're not in control of it yet. You're going to have to stay for a while. But I've made the decision this time that I'm not going to try and get myself out of hospital. I'll stay as long as they need me to, because trying to get out of hospital just early just doesn't work. I was leaving before I should have every time, and I drove that. I think they were sick of me, but I just, like anybody, you don't want to stay in hospital. I was no different. I wanted to get out. But this time, okay, look, we'll run it by you. If you tell me I've got to stay, I've got to stay. And I was in there for a total of 2 weeks. But in that 2 weeks, we went through a doctor strike. We went through limited nurse staffing. It was just chaos. And the ladies that were working, the staff that were there, the support staff were working 10 times harder than ever. But things were getting missed and things weren't getting done. Okay, so that brings us on to COVID. Belinda, now, bless me, Belinda works every day. So she's still got a full-time job, still got 2 kids. We still have 3 dogs. She's still come to see me every day, bless her. She had one day off a week, which was a Saturday, which gave her a chance to, just recap herself and get a bit of rest. But she got COVID. She'd seen me the day before, but she developed COVID, quite nasty strain of COVID. She was in a lot of agony there, a lot of pain, all the stuff that you got with COVID. She was getting every symptom that you got with COVID. So she called me up and she said, look, I'm actually outside the hospital. I can't come in. I've been tested for COVID. So I can't come in. But obviously I'm worried because I only saw you yesterday. Okay, don't worry, I'll be fine. Just go home, get rested. I'll let one of the nurses know and we'll get tested and make sure I'm okay. So we called the nurse. Nurse came over. Look, my wife has been tested for COVID and she was actually in this ward yesterday, seeing me, and she's tested positive for COVID today. There's a good chance she's passed that on to me. Do you think we should do a test? Oh, no, you won't need that. It's a secure ward. We take all sorts of precautions. You won't need testing for COVID. Huh. Okay. Should we test it anyway? Because if I've got COVID, obviously I'm in a weakened state myself. But what about all these other poor people on the ward? I don't know what they've got. Are we not compromising their health now? Oh, look, it's really, really busy, and we have, like I said, we do have a lot of precautions in place to keep things at bay. So I'm sure you'll be fine. Oh yeah, MSRA, I'm sure that's always contained. Yeah, but for the sake of just a simple COVID test, can we not just do that? No, we can't. We're not going to do it. We think you'll be all right. But I'll write a note on your file that you've obviously said this. Never did. Never wrote a note down at all. So I left it a fair few hours. So this was early on in the morning. It's now about 8, 9 o'clock. Belinda's hunched up in bed. I said, look, just get some rest. She said, what did the nurses do about the COVID thing? I said, nothing, absolutely nothing. But it's probably best I bring it back up because of how bad you're feeling. So Belinda told her to go sleep and I'll sort this bit out. You don't sleep in hospital, you just don't sleep. So I called one of the other ward sisters over and I explained to her what had happened and what the nurse had said to me earlier on. She went, oh yeah, she's right. I'm sure you haven't got COVID, but look, if it'll make you feel better and give you a bit of what's the word? Make you feel easier. We'll do a COVID test on you. I'm sure it'll come back negative, but we'll do a COVID test on you. You do that. So she does a COVID test on me, and then it's gone midnight now, and I'm starting to feel a bit sleepy. I fall asleep to be woken up at 2 a.m. There's now about 5 nurses surrounding me. The curtain goes up. There's 2 porters on their way. What's going on? Oh, Mr. Anderson, you've tested positive COVID. Have I now? Have I? What do you say? I mean, how do you fight that? So anyway, there's no point me dwelling on it. I've tested positive for COVID. So they get me into a isolated room on my own. I had to say to the nurse, I told you this almost 12 hours ago, but nobody listened to me. The chance of me getting COVID are quite high because my wife's got it. I may not feel the symptoms, but it doesn't mean I've not got it. How does nobody take that on board and just give me a simple COVID test? What about all these other people that are poorly now that might have COVID because I've passed it on to them? I will deal with all of that. Anyway, it was swept under the carpet. I said, was a report made that morning that I did say that I wanted a COVID test? Oh, I can't see it on any report. So the nurse had spoke to, I didn't even bother writing it down. Meant nothing to him, COVID. Anyway, so we go into a side room, and I'm now going to spend the rest of my time in hospital in this isolated room. Another few days goes by. Josh is gone on a volleyball tournament. I want to say Tenerife, but he's gone on a volleyball tournament. So we're all in England. He's in Tenerife. Everything's looking good. It's about 8 o'clock at night. Sandy and Belinda are there. We're just starting to wrap things up. They've just bought me some food from the canteen, because the hospital food is dog food. And I mean that with absolutely, no, it's whether you respect it or not, it is dog food. I don't know how you can look at that food and say that's appetizing at all. No wonder people want to get out of hospital. You can't eat. So anyway, they bought me something from the canteen. They're starting to wrap things up and say, right, guys, you go home, get yourself some rest. And then we get a phone call. Turns out Josh has had a suspected heart attack now in Tenerife. So now we have a new panic. I'm stuck in hospital here. Josh is over in Tenerife on his own in another country, but in a foreign hospital with people that are struggling to speak English with a suspected heart attack. At one point, you've got to laugh and just say, look, are we going to get a break? Right? Can we just, it's pretty full on. It's bam, 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 bam. When are we going to get a break with this? Luckily, for Josh, he was absolutely fine. It was a mixture of the heat and doing lots of exercise in the heat and not enough water, and he'd fallen sick with it. But his volleyball tournament was, for him, it was over. They wanted to get him home on the next flight. So they got him home. We managed to traverse all that, got him onto a flight. He came back to England. His uncle picked him up and then brought him to the Leicester Royal. So we knew that Josh was safe. So we sidestepped that landmine. Tough lad, my son. Absolute tough lad. But we got through it. We got through it as a family. We stuck together as a family. We didn't panic. Said, okay, let's rationally think this through. Let's get through to the right people, speak to the right people, and let's work the problem. Let's get him home safely. And that's what we did. We got him home safe. And I spend the rest of my time now in this little isolated ward. Test after test, blood test after blood test, until finally the doctors, on their own merit, said I'm now past the stage that I'm in trouble. They are happy, not me forcing them or pushing them. They are now happy to send me home. I can now go home. And God damn it, am I never coming back to hospital. I'm never, ever going to step foot in a hospital. I did, but for this part of the journey, for the side effects from the operation, from the water retention to the sepsis to the infection, the night I almost died, that is all behind me now. I'm going home. And I'll tell you what happens next in the journey, because we are getting closer to popcorn. We're also getting closer to some news I got from the doctors about my cancer, and we're getting closer to news about my stoma bag. Speak to you soon.